We now get together, brothers and sisters, to join in unity for independence.
It was 43 years ago when the Commonwealth of the Bahamas gained its independence on July 10th. The chain of islands has achieved a tremendous amount of growth over the years in its population, infrastructure development, education, and culture most notably. Let's take a look at the Bahamas' unique and diverse culture, especially its music, which has ride waves just not locally but internationally. A form of music in the Bahamas known as rake and scrape has gained much attention and popularity, with having its roots from Caribbean and then simultaneously developing throughout the Bahama Islands, with the beating of gombe drums, scraping a carpenter's saw, and playing melodious tunes on the concertina and harmonica. I'm Keisha Fowler, and I invite you to walk with me as I delve into the life of a young man who was not around 43 years ago, but through his hard work, persistence, and love for his country has made the sounds of rake and scrape stay alive, especially in our Bahamian youth. As it flows through his blood, being the son of a music teacher and finding himself actively involved in music at a very young age, I speak with Mr. McDaniel Adams Jr., husband, father, teacher, mentor, and founder of the Rhythm and Youth Band.
My father has always been into music. He was a music teacher at C.I. Gibson, so I literally grew up on that campus, going to work with him. I was a part of the National Children's Choir. It was always about exploration. It was never anything too hard, or, it was always about, I guess he was trying to figure out what all I could do. Mm-hmm. We always had instruments in the house because he plays them all. And then as I got older, he said, I started to go to Miss Audrey Wright for piano lessons. Mm-hmm. And between that and the children's choir was where I really began my musical experience. So in 6th grade, my dad had a rake and scrape band at his school. The name of the band was Good Time Rake and Scrape Band. Mm-hmm. And like I say all the time, I had the measly job of playing the tire rim, keeping everybody on time. But I had a lot of fun. We performed many places: hotels, private parties, Life of Key Club, a bunch of places, downtown, and it was really, really a good experience for me. To be honest, we were all just having fun. It was nothing ever too serious, except for when it was time for practice.
So it wasn't like Michael Jackson, Jackson 5?
No. It wasn't like you can't watch TV now, we gotta practice. No. It's never like that. He had me do some music, Royal School of Music exams. I think I was in 12th grade, I took grade 1. And as I came out of school, and when I went into COB, he would just have me take these music exams every year. Until I got up to grade 4. I think I did up to grade 4. And then I decided to focus on the degree that I was doing at COB, which was marketing.
It was only that at that time when God spoke to business marketing major at the College of the Bahamas to shift his focus to the classroom.
The transition of marketing and love of music.
Well, I didn't really understand then why or how they would intertwine, but as I continued, I understood. I had two loves. I loved business. I love selling things. I love promoting things. But I also loved music. Music is my first love for sure. But like I said, it was always a hobby. It was never anything serious. As I got into high school, business became a big deal for me. So I went to COB, did this marketing thing, and then God throws this curveball at me and says, I want you to do education. So I was like, how is it that you want me to do education when I'm clearly studying this business thing? And what happened was a lady approached me from the ministry and said, "Why don't you come and put in an application?" And so I took the challenge. I put the application in with nothing to lose because, if I did get hired, then okay, then I'll have a job. And if I didn't get hired, then it'll be fine because then I'll just continue doing the business thing. And so in 2009, I became a teacher at Jar Cash Primary School, teaching music. And that is where my musical career really budded and bloomed and flourished.
Okay.
So I got a lot of my classroom management skills from my prior job because I was working at Atlanta's Kids Club, which was Discovery Channel camp before that. So dealing with kids was something that I already had experience with because it was both Bahamian kids and foreign kids. So going into the classroom was a little bit more structured than Atlanta's Kids Club because Atlanta's Kids Club was just we having fun, we following the schedule, and we got fun. But getting into the classroom is like, okay, the kids got to know this, and this by the end of the semester. So we have fun, but we learn these things.
Okay.
One day while taking a trip down memory lane when his father once had a rake and scrape band, Nathaniel was onto something without even thought.
And so I decided that in 2009, I said, well, for fun, because remember now, nothing is serious, right? Let's do a little rake and scrape band. I remember when I was in grade 6, So there were about, it was about 6 students. They had some talent, and we just practiced every lunchtime. They would come, "Mr. Adams, can we practice?" Sure. I in there. And so they came every lunchtime until we had a special assembly. So I said, well, why does Bobby don't let the band perform for the special assembly? They performed. It was awesome. Then the National Arts Festival came up, and we prepared for it. We entered the rake and scrape category. And what happened was I had an exam that day, so I never even watched the band perform at the National Arts Festival for the first time. And when they performed and when the results came back, they had scored the highest ever in that category, which at that time was a score of 92.
Wow.
And so I knew that there was something special about the band, that it wasn't just, okay, these just some students who scraping one song. No, we were on to something that was much bigger than us. And even then, I did not know how great it was. And so the next year was difficult because that entire band graduated. All 6 of those students left me. So I was like, okay, now how is it that I'm going to get, get this band back and for it to be as good or even better than before. So a lady who I worked under by the name of Miss Joy Roll, she and I collaborated very well, and we said what we'll do is we'll have auditions. So we had auditions, and boy, I tell you, at least 100 students auditioned that day.
Wow.
And so, but we ended up with a group of 25 students. So that was the second year. It was very successful. Same thing with the third year. Same thing with the 4th year. We were winning the National Arts Festival every year, and we were also getting a lot of popularity with regard to performances to different places. People were requesting the band to perform different places. So, like I said, we definitely knew then we were on to something.
Once becoming established as a Ministry of Youth summer camp, Rhythm and Youth was born, impacting the lives of many and connecting past and present, preparing for a bright future.
We decided to do a rake and scrape camp in 2012. Okay? And in 2012, that was the inception of Rhythm and Youth.
Okay.
Because we became a Ministry of Youth camp by the name of Rhythm and Youth Summer Drum Camp. The camp was very successful. We had about 75 students, 75 campers, and we performed different places. We even hosted a workshop at the Sheraton for the tourists, where we did a show at first. We had ring play, we had different stuff going on, And then we opened it for the tourists
To demonstrate
right.
and
so we had the
practice.
kids teach them like for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it was incredible.
Okay,
The
wow.
guests were involved; they loved it, and we all took a picture at the end of it. And that in itself also showed me that it's not just a local market that we have access to, but that we have foreigners who this is the kind of things that they want to do when they come to the Bahamas. And so that was a mind opener for me. And so we continued the camp every year since then. And then our travels started. Oh, after the camp, we decided that we were going to continue this. Because although we had age brackets that did different things, we had a group of counselors that were sent to us, and they were all musicians and drummers.
Wow.
And so even though the kids were performing, the counselors got opportunities to perform different places that summer. And that's when we realized, okay, now for true, this bigger than us. And we have to keep this going.
For true.
For true. And so every Saturday since then, we have been rehearsing and finding ways to kind of include more people. And it opened it up from just being Gerald Cash Primary School to now being where anyone
Yeah.
can join. And we're hosting now different schools. Another issue that we had at Gerald Cash is that the children graduated and then they left and then they didn't do rake and scrape anymore. So we're producing these musical national champions and then they're leaving, and then it was nowhere for them to go. So what Rhythm and Youth did when we carried it on was house all of those students.
Once they would have graduated, they can
They
come
had a
right
home.
back. They had a home, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so that is how we continued like that. And like I said earlier, our travels began. The first time that we traveled was actually when we were with Gerald Cash Primary. We went to the Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival. And then the second year, it was Rhythm and Youth. And we did a drum selection for them, Rake and Scrape selection. And it was awesome. It was electric. I mean, if you put in Rhythm and Youth right now on YouTube, you can find that Rake and Scrape performance. It was electricity from beginning to end. So it was even then we realized, okay, dude, this ain't just us beating the drum. This is more. We're telling a story. We're connecting, even in a spiritual sense with our ancestors who, this was the music of freedom for them. And so now we can be free.
Having already traveled to Cat Island for its Rake and Scrape Festival, the band found itself being offered the privilege of not just performing on the various islands, but on an international scale.
We realized it was more of a market, and then we had this opportunity to travel to New York. Money was raised. We ended up going. We performed at the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and we did an hour show there. We traveled to Poughkeepsie, New York, where we played at Vassar College, did a full concert there. And then we also played at the United Nations headquarters, where we played at the Dags Hammarskjöld Auditorium. Then after that, we traveled to Tallahassee to perform with Rhythm Rushers, which is a jungle group at the Florida A&M University. It was a parade called the Springtime Tallahassee Parade. Although that one was not Rake and Scrape, it was Junkanoo. And it was a collaboration between us and the school. We wanted to establish a relationship with them. And after that parade, we assisted them in winning the Judges' Choice Awards.
Wow.
It was about 12 people in that parade, and we provided 9. It was 9 of us that rushed along. So the majority of it was still us. And we still thank them for that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had a small group travel to Canada for the Jesus in the City parade, Jesus in the City Festival. Yes. It was actually with the Bahama Youth Brass Band. And 2 of us, we carried our tom-toms, and we were the intro for the band's performance. We were asked to provide like that Bahamian Rake and Scrape flavor before that. And so We've been to Canada. Then after that, we traveled to Greensboro, North Carolina, where we were the halftime show for the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament Championship game.
Cool.
Yes, it is definitely more than just about beating the drum. We were official ambassadors, and they paid for everything. We had the star treatment. They picked us up from the airport. They made sure that we were comfortable. There was someone assigned to us to give us whatever we wanted.
Wow.
Yes, and even when we got on the basketball court, we did the sound check and everything, and when we did the actual show, I mean, the crowd was in awe and shock because they had never seen anything like that in their entire lives. And we've had a lot of people even come to us after the show and say, "Oh, you guys were the best show we've ever seen." And to hear them just respond to us and receive us, it was a very wonderful experience. And so, moving forward this summer, we have a small group traveling with the National Children's Choir on tour in Washington, D.C. And as of today, it is official. We are traveling to San Salvador at the end of July as well.
Nice.
Where we will be assisting with the Gumbe Festival. Next year, we have Minnesota on the table.
Looking beyond just performing, Nathaniel's mission is to pour into the lives of the youths under his tutelage by granting them impeccable memories through awesome experiences.
The reason why the program is so important, even more so important than the Bahamian aspect of it, is because you don't just build the Bahamian, you build the person. And once you build the person, then you affect everything that falls underneath that. And what am I saying when I say that? In terms of them being a Bahamian ambassador, what is expected out of a Bahamian ambassador? You got to be disciplined. You have to represent your country well. You have to be well-mannered. You cannot be unkempt. You have to be a gentleman if you're a guy, and you have to be a lady. When people ask you questions, you have to be able to answer. And so it's all of these stuff that we try to encompass within the program, and we are sure that it's working because we've had kids who they would have left the country for the first time ever because of the program, because of what we've been doing all this time. So yeah, you ain't just spanking a tum-tum or scraping a saw. We're going places. We're in demand in other areas of the world that people are willing to pay. And so we realized that their experience after they come back, they're different because they would have seen more than just their community. They would have seen that they're more than just, this guy from around the corner. You have a one-up on that dude who just stand there or smoke dope on the corner. No, because while he doing that, you busy trying to practice this instrument because we have some performance or we have some trip or something where we're going to go. And so I think that all of that really builds the individual. Right now, the new move for the program is an experience program. Everything will do its job. The church is going to evangelize. The school is going to educate. And it's also our job to reinforce all of these things. That's a big deal if we're going to be a community organization. But we want to use the resources that we attain to expose these kids and give them experiences. I work at Life Key International School, and I went on I was a chaperone for a snorkeling field trip in Eleuthera, and I'm 28 years old, and I have never experienced the Bahamas like that in all the years I've been living here. All of the kids were great swimmers. A lot of our kids are not great swimmers. A snorkeling trip like that, a lot of our kids would never be able to experience. And so I said, that's number one. We got to get our kids to be swimmers so we could open up a thing like this for them, an opportunity like this for them. And I'll tell you this, we all jump off this cliff, right? We land in this beautiful blue turquoise water. I've never seen a water like this in my life.
Wow.
And landing in this water was like jumping in the aquarium at Atlantis. As soon as we got in, there were fish swimming all around us. I mean, the coral reef was just beautiful, and it was amazing. And I had a fear of open water. But what was so amazing was that I wanted to see more when I was down there. And for me, that I came back a different man. And this is what I said while I was on that plane heading back to Nassau. You have experienced something that the average Bahamian does not experience. You must make that available for these students. That is how we're going to change our country,
Yeah.
We have to do it from the inside. So, I said, as we get funds, as we go different places, we're going to make it a point to not just go and play, but we're going to experience that island. So I spoke to you earlier about San Salvador. They were only paying for us to perform the night that we would have been playing. But I said, no, let's stay over for the weekend so the kids can experience San Salvador. We're not going to have this opportunity afforded to us and then just leave and come back home just to say we've been to San Salvador. No, what does San Salvador have to offer us? How can we affect the kids, based on what they have to offer? And so we decided that we would foot the bill in terms of staying over for the weekend so that the kids can have that experience. And so that is what we're about right now with regards to the experience. And it's not just about experience in the Bahamas per se, but even in terms of the academic portion. Now, we have teachers showing up for work every day and they're doing their best. But guess what? We can affect their creative writing if we give them something to write about.
Yeah. So true.
After the summer break, my goal is for when they have to sit down to write, what did I do over my summer break? They have 10,000 things they could talk about. And that's what we're having an in-house summer camp right now. Usually it's about the music. Because I told you it was a summer camp and it was about the music. We scrape and saw and beating drum. But this time, the music is kind of back burner and it's more about learning about historic Nassau. And so far we've been, the campus just started. We've been to the Pompey Museum and we learn all about slavery. So we're going to start from the beginning. And then we're going to Pirates of Nassau tomorrow to learn about the pirates them. And and so you understand what we're doing. It's not just about the music. The music is the vehicle. Where are we going with it though? What do we want to accomplish? At the end of the day, when I die, when I leave this place, I don't need a big funeral. That's not my goal because I can already be gone. But at least I'll be able to stand before the Father and say, listen, while I was here, I did this. These are the people who I affected as a young Bahamian. And I feel as though if we all, as Bahamians, in our right, because you as a radio personality, you are affecting me right now because I now have an opportunity. You open the door for me to come and speak about my group. And so we all have to find ways to create a better Bahamas from where we are. If you're a banker, help people move forward in their lives by, through their finances and whatever. So that is the way forward, I feel, for our country in general.
The 2016 champions of the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival Junkamania competition finds themselves being in high demand for their performances and to be able for the past 5 years to perform at the Bahamas' independence celebrations on Clifford Park.
Well, we do a lot of private events. A lot. Like so much so I have to tell people no sometimes because the children, have to go to school, whether it be, they want us to perform in the middle of the day. Government ministries calling us a lot when they have foreign, like they have a world delegation coming in for whatever, different things. We play the parties, bunch of different stuff on the corporate level.
Okay.
A lot of openings and stuff like that. Conferences. We've gained a lot of popularity with the event companies here in the Bahamas who call us for different things. So we're happy for all of that. And then we try our best to remain available for independence. I think we've been doing that for maybe the past 5 years.
Okay.
But I think recently we would have gained a whole lot more popularity. So, and then recently we won the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival Junkamania competition, which was big. It was a big deal. And I am very grateful to be the winner for an entire year. I get to brag.
Sound like the Valley Boys.
I know, right?
Remembering the ones that paved the way, Nathaniel wants his youth to be remembered one day.
The way forward with the music is, I think that a good goal for us is to maybe put something to CD, create something timeless that will survive even after we would have passed away. We have a lot of greats that would have come before us and who would have done the same thing. And, you know, Eddie Minnis and Ronnie Butler is still here.
Yeah.
You know, that have created, Phil Stubbs would have created so much.
The storyteller.
Oh, yes. Awesome Bahamian music. And we want to be able to be a part of that. And I tell my kids all the time, one day, somebody is going to, the kids in school are going to learn about you in their social studies book.
Yeah.
It coming. You know, and it's not because, oh, we know we celebrities and whatever, but no, you're doing something that's affecting a whole lot of other things. And so you have to be aware of that. So all in all, just a regular Bahamian guy trying to do his best to affect the community in music, in community, in life.
So, my fellow listeners, thank you so much for boarding on this journey with me. For more information regarding this band and bookings, feel free to call them at 565-2885 or email njayadams@hotmail.com. That's ENJAYADAMS@hotmail.com. Happy Independence, Bahamas!